Welcome to your NFL Daily Brief, all the hits, none of the fluff. Like and subscribe to stay updated. Here are the brief highlights of today's top stories. Bills prevail in close win against Dolphins. Now 0-3, Dolphins battle but refuse moral victories. NFL, officiate tush push tight after missed call. Source: Packers Kraft, all good after injury scare. Purdy happy with progress. We'll see, for Week 3. Goedeke hits IR as Bucs lose another starting OL. Texans Ward won't face domestic violence charge. Flores attorneys say NFL arbiter stalling case. Jets Williams. Bills clunker won't happen again. Cardi B, Stefon Diggs are expecting a child. Which 0-2 teams still have a shot at the playoffs? Barnwell ranks all 10 by turnaround likelihood. Real or not ratings for every team. Best of NFL Week 3's arrivals, featuring Josh Allen's fan-designed hat. What we're hearing. Latest on Aaron Rodgers, the Bengals' plans without Joe Burrow. Early observations. Is Smith and Jigba a WR1? What to do with Henderson and Loveland? Rankings for Week 3. What are the odds? Top 25 predicted anytime NFL TD scorers for Week 3. Week 3 betting, odds, lines and totals for every game. You're motivated to get that taste out of your mouth. How Detroit has won 11 in a row after a loss. Can the Giants afford to sit Jackson Dart for the whole year? Here are the benefits. Now, let's dive deeper into the details. The Buffalo Bills secured a hard-fought 31-21 victory against the Miami Dolphins in a divisional matchup.
Despite being double-digit favorites, the Bills faced a tough challenge from the Dolphins, who kept the game close.
A key turning point came late in the fourth quarter when linebacker Terrell Bernard intercepted Tua Tagovailoa, leading to a Bills field goal.
This interception extended the Bills' remarkable streak to 25 consecutive games without losing the turnover battle.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen had a solid performance with 3 touchdown passes, reaching 200 for his career.
However, the Dolphins' defense effectively limited Allen's downfield passing, preventing completions over 10 yards.
The Bills' defense, initially strong in the first 2 weeks, struggled on third downs, allowing the Dolphins to convert 10 of 15 attempts.
This significantly contributed to Miami remaining competitive throughout the game.
The Dolphins, despite entering the game as underdogs, showed resilience and fought hard against the Bills.
Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa played a relatively conservative game but had key moments, including a well-executed touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill.
Rookie running back Ollie Gordon saw increased playing time for the Dolphins and contributed to their improved rushing performance.
The Dolphins' defense also showed improvement, recording several stops against a potent Bills offense.
Both teams now look ahead to their next games, with the Bills facing the New Orleans Saints and the Dolphins taking on the New York Jets. The Miami Dolphins fought hard against the Buffalo Bills on Thursday night, despite being significant underdogs.
Although the game was close for most of its duration, a couple of key mistakes in the final quarter led to a 31-21 loss for Miami.
Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa emphasized that there are no moral victories in professional football.
He acknowledged some positive aspects of the Dolphins' offensive performance but stressed the importance of team unity in both wins and losses.
This loss brings the Dolphins' record to 0-3 for the season, extending their losing streak against the Bills to 7 games.
Despite pre-game speculation about coach Mike McDaniel's job security, the Dolphins initially played with intensity and determination.
Miami scored on their opening drive for the first time this season following a strong kickoff return by D. Eskridge.
However, they subsequently allowed the Bills to score 14 unanswered points.
The Dolphins managed to tie the game twice, including once with 12 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
A crucial roughing the punter penalty against Zach Sealer proved costly, leading to the Bills' game-winning touchdown.
Tagovailoa then threw an interception that sealed the Dolphins' defeat.
While the Dolphins showed improvement in some areas, such as third down conversions and rushing yards, McDaniel reiterated that a loss is still a loss.
The National Football League has instructed officials to closely monitor the Eagles' tush-push play.
This follows a controversial play in their game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
The league confirmed this instruction was given in a training tape sent to all 32 teams.
The tape showed an example of the Eagles using the tush-push for a first down.
The National Football League vice president of officiating emphasized the need for perfect execution by the offense on such plays.
He stated officials should be strict in enforcing the rules regarding onside and early movement.
Chiefs coach Andy Reid commented after the game about the Eagles potentially getting away with early snaps.
Fox analyst Tom Brady also noted potential early movement by the Eagles' offensive line during the broadcast.
The Eagles center Cam Jurgens addressed the controversy, stating they are focused on their own execution.
He also said they will adapt if the league makes any rule changes or emphasizes existing ones.
A proposal to ban the tush-push play failed by 2 votes this offseason.
The Eagles have been highly successful with the play, converting it almost 97% of the time in 4th and 1 scenarios since 2022.
Green Bay Packers tight end Tucker Kraft experienced a knee injury scare during Thursday practice.
Fortunately, initial tests suggest the injury is not serious, according to a source.
Another source indicated that Kraft should be okay, although the team will monitor his knee Friday.
This injury follows wide receiver Jayden Reed being sidelined with a broken collarbone.
Reed also underwent foot surgery and is anticipated to be placed on injured reserve.
With wide receiver Christian Watson also recovering from ACL surgery, quarterback Jordan Love might be without 3 key targets.
Kraft currently leads the Packers with 8 receptions for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He is coming off his first career 100-yard game against the Washington Commanders.
If Kraft cannot play against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, it will be his first missed game since joining the National Football League.
Kraft was a 3rd-round pick in the 2023 draft.
The Packers will face the Dallas Cowboys in Week 4 before their bye week.
The team hopes to have Kraft back on the field soon.
San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is uncertain about playing Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals.
Purdy stated that the decision will be made much closer to game time than it was before last week's game against New Orleans.
Purdy practiced for a second consecutive day on a limited basis due to a toe injury.
He suffered this injury in the season-opening win against the Seattle Seahawks.
Purdy confirmed that his left shoulder injury from the Seattle game is no longer a concern.
However, his toe needs to be fully healed before he can return to the field.
While Purdy missed Week 2 against the Saints, he has made significant progress and might play in Sunday's home opener.
Purdy originally injured his toe during a 7-yard scramble in the first half against Seattle.
He informed the coaching staff about the toe discomfort during the game, but the pain intensified afterward.
In Week 2, Coach Kyle Shanahan deemed it a long shot for Purdy to play, ultimately starting Mac Jones.
This week, the starting quarterback situation is less clear, with Jones taking first-team reps in practice.
Purdy is working with the medical and equipment staff to find suitable orthotics or padding for his cleats.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers placed starting right tackle Luke Goedeke on injured reserve due to a foot injury. Starting right guard Cody Mauch also went on injured reserve with a knee injury and will have surgery. Sources told ESPN that Mauch will miss the remainder of the season due to this injury. The Buccaneers were already without starting All-Pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs, who is recovering from off-season knee surgery. Goedeke is expected to return later in the season, after the mandatory 4 games missed while on injured reserve. To compensate for these losses, the Buccaneers signed offensive lineman Dan Feeney from the Buffalo Bills practice squad. They also promoted offensive lineman Luke Haggard from their own practice squad. Additionally, they signed offensive lineman Sua Opeta to their practice squad for further depth. Feeney has played in 120 career games with 65 starts, primarily as an interior offensive lineman. Haggard spent the past 2 seasons on the Buccaneers practice squad after starting at left tackle for Indiana University. Opeta has experience at both right and left guard positions. He spent 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles before joining the Buccaneers. Houston Texans safety Jimmy Ward will not face charges following a grand jury decision.
A Montgomery County grand jury declined to indict Ward on domestic violence charges.
The grand jury found no probable cause that Ward committed the alleged crimes.
Ward is currently on the National Football League Commissioner exempt list.
He was placed on the list following his arrest in June for alleged family violence.
Ward is not allowed to practice or attend games while on the list.
His attorney expects him to be removed from the list soon.
The attorney thanked the National Football League and the Texans for their patience.
The woman involved in the incident alleged multiple assaults by Ward.
She also claimed their 3-year-old child was present during the alleged incident.
Ward was later arrested for violating his release conditions.
The woman has filed a lawsuit against Ward seeking significant damages.
Brian Flores, Steve Wilkes, and Ray Horton have requested reconsideration of a court order that moved part of their lawsuit against the National Football League to arbitration.
This request, filed with the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, argues that a 2023 order should be reconsidered due to flaws in the league's arbitration process.
The attorneys argue that an August ruling highlighting these flaws constitutes definitive controlling law over the previous order.
They believe the National Football League is attempting to delay and avoid litigation of these claims.
Flores initially sued the National Football League and several teams in January 2022 after being fired by the Miami Dolphins.
His claim accused the league of racism in hiring and promoting black coaches.
Standard National Football League coaching contracts stipulate that disputes be settled through arbitration organized by the commissioner.
Commissioner Roger Goodell appointed Peter C. Harvey as the arbitrator for the issues moved out of the lawsuit.
Flores' attorneys state that the arbitration process has not moved forward since an exchange of legal briefs in December 2024.
They claim the entire arbitration is at a standstill.
Flores worked as an assistant with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022 and joined the Minnesota Vikings in 2023.
He interviewed for head coaching positions with multiple teams after the 2024 season but did not advance to the second round.
The New York Jets defense, after a poor showing against the Buffalo Bills, is determined to avoid a repeat performance.
Defensive tackle Quinnen Williams stated the defense made a pact to ensure such a game will not happen again.
The Jets allowed 224 rushing yards against the Bills, their most since 2021.
This was a stark contrast to their top 4 defensive rankings in recent years.
Williams emphasized the team has engaged in constructive criticism and taken ownership of their shortcomings.
He clarified this was a routine defensive meeting, not a players-only meeting.
The Jets had issues with tackling and penalties, particularly against the run and on third downs.
Despite high expectations, the Jets' defense has allowed 64 points in 2 games.
Defensive coordinator Steve Wilks believes the issues are not schematic, but rather fundamental.
The Buccaneers have a depleted offensive line, but Williams says the Jets are focused on their own issues.
Williams believes the Jets have the personnel to be one of the best defenses in the league.
He stressed the importance of meeting the standards set by coach Aaron Glenn.
Cardi B and Stefon Diggs are expecting a child together.
The Grammy Award-winning rapper announced her pregnancy with the New England Patriots wide receiver.
She shared this news in an interview with Gayle King on CBS Mornings.
Cardi B expressed feeling strong and powerful while managing her work and pregnancy.
This will be her 4th child, and it is Stefon Diggs' first.
Rumors about the pregnancy circulated on social media prior to the announcement.
The baby is due before Cardi B's tour begins in February.
Her second studio album, Am I the Drama, will be released on September 19th.
Diggs has 10 receptions for 89 yards in his first 2 games with the Patriots.
When asked about planned celebrations, Diggs remained coy and said we will see.
This exciting news has captured the attention of fans and media alike.
We wish them all the best as they prepare to welcome their new addition.
10 teams began the 2025 National Football League season 0-2, impacting their playoff chances.
Historically, starting 0-2 reduces playoff probability, but 0-3 is almost a guarantee of missing the postseason.
Since 2002, only 13.3% of teams starting 0-2 made the playoffs, while a mere 3.1% succeeded after an 0-3 start.
The Kansas City Chiefs, despite their 0-2 record, have a 51.8% chance according to ESPN's Football Power Index.
Their offense lacks a core strength, struggling with an inconsistent run game and few explosive passing plays.
The Chiefs' defense also ranks poorly, particularly against play action and blitzes.
The Houston Texans, with a 24.3% playoff chance, lost 2 close games due to critical errors and persistent offensive line issues.
The Chicago Bears, at 6.3%, showed promise initially but struggled with inconsistent quarterback play and a non-existent run game.
The Miami Dolphins, at 5.1%, face internal conflicts and offensive line woes impacting their chances of turning things around.
The New York Giants, with a 3.7% chance, have underperformed in the red zone and suffered from injuries on the offensive line.
The New York Jets, at 7.3%, struggled offensively without starting quarterback Justin Fields and faced defensive inconsistencies.
The Carolina Panthers, at 5.5%, are experiencing growing pains with their young quarterback and offensive line injuries.
2 weeks into the 2025 National Football League season, narratives are forming, perhaps prematurely.
The 10 remaining 2-0 teams are not all Super Bowl contenders, and some will not even reach the playoffs.
Conversely, the 11-0-2 teams are not all hopeless.
Each team needs to either reverse a negative trend or continue a positive one.
Reporters from ESPN have identified key trends for each team and assessed their likelihood of continuing.
Let us delve into some specific examples from around the league.
The Buffalo Bills surprisingly lead the league in rushing attempts.
This is real to an extent, as their offense emphasizes a productive run game to support quarterback Josh Allen.
The Miami Dolphins rank 29th in rushing yards per game, a trend likely to continue given their struggles last season and current injuries.
The New England Patriots are averaging 10.5 accepted penalties per game, a trend likely to decrease as the season progresses.
The New York Jets rank poorly in yards and points allowed, but this is likely a mirage given the talent on their defense.
Mark Andrews' lack of productivity for the Baltimore Ravens appears to be a real trend, as he is not being utilized in the game plan.
Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa displayed their team spirit during Thursday Night Football's pregame.
Allen wore a hat designed by a young patient from Officiate Children's Hospital in Buffalo.
Tagovailoa opted for a classic look with a team-branded hat and hoodie.
Week 3 showcased a variety of pregame styles from players across the league.
Looks ranged from sharp tailored suits to more relaxed streetwear ensembles.
Many players incorporated flashy jewelry and team colors into their outfits.
Some players chose sleek and sophisticated attire.
Others prioritized comfort with more casual pieces.
And a select few made bold fashion statements mirroring their on-field performances.
Pre-game fashion has become an important ritual for many National Football League teams.
The tunnel walk provides players an opportunity to express their personal style.
It is clear that fashion plays a significant role in the pre-game atmosphere.
Week 3 of the National Football League season is here, and there is much to discuss.
Insiders are analyzing the latest news, including the Bengals' plans without Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers' performance with the Steelers.
The Bengals have confidence in Jake Browning as their starting quarterback.
They believe Browning can operate their offense effectively, citing his performance in 2023 when Burrow was injured.
Browning led the Bengals to a 4-3 record in games he started that season.
He is now in his 5th season with the Bengals and is very familiar with their system.
Early reports on Aaron Rodgers' performance in Pittsburgh are positive.
His arm strength remains strong, and his mobility has improved slightly compared to last year.
However, the main question is whether his body can withstand a full 17-game season.
An American Football Conference scout noted Rodgers' reduced mobility due to injury last season with the Jets.
Rodgers will face challenging pass rushers in the coming weeks.
There are questions about the Steelers' offense and defense this season.
Jackson Smith-Njigba has a remarkable 42.3% target share through 2 games, showcasing impressive early production.
However, his lack of red zone targets prevents him from reaching his full potential as a top-tier fantasy wide receiver.
Justin Herbert is performing like a solid quarterback, averaging 23.3 fantasy points per game and utilizing both his arm and legs effectively.
Tre'Veon Henderson has underperformed early on, but fantasy managers should remain patient as he adapts to the professional level.
The defenses of Dallas and Chicago have struggled, creating potential for high-scoring matchups against them.
This benefits quarterbacks like Dak Prescott and Caleb Williams, as well as wide receivers like George Pickens.
Tyler Warren is emerging as a valuable tight end option due to Shane Steichen's effective scheming in the Colts offense.
Rome Odunze is showing signs of a breakout season, with consistent targets and strong performances in the Bears' offense.
Matthew Stafford's declining mobility is a concern for fantasy managers, potentially impacting the performance of his receivers.
Jake Browning could be a viable waiver wire option in deeper leagues for those who roster Joe Burrow.
Quinton Judkins impressed in his professional debut and could develop into a reliable running back option.
Tetairoa McMillan has established himself as the primary target for Bryce Young, solidifying his position as a fantasy-relevant wide receiver.
Fantasy football experts are discussing Javonte Williams and his potential as a top running back.
The debate includes whether he should be considered a guaranteed starter in fantasy lineups.
ESPN provides weekly fantasy football rankings based on input from multiple experts.
These rankings include standard PPR and individual defensive player formats.
The expert panel consists of Matt Bowen, Mike Clay, Tristan H. Cockcroft, and others.
Eric Carabell also contributes rankings specifically for Superflex leagues.
Rankings are released every Tuesday and updated throughout the week.
Updates reflect the latest news and analysis impacting player performance.
You can find rankings for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, kickers, and defenses.
Individual defensive player rankings cover the top 50 defensive linemen, linebackers, and defensive backs.
Carabelle's Superflex rankings cover the top 150 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers and tight ends.
These resources help fantasy players make informed decisions about their lineups.
Mike Clay provides fantasy football projections, including touchdown probabilities, for every National Football League game.
These projections can be useful for anytime touchdown bets, daily fantasy sports lineups, or simply for fun.
Here are the top 25 predicted touchdown scorers for Week 3, based on his projections.
He also provides implied odds, converted from the projected probability of a touchdown.
These implied odds can be compared to the money line offered by ESPN Bet.
A higher implied odd compared to the money line suggests a potential advantage for the bettor.
Conversely, a lower implied odd compared to the money line suggests a disadvantage.
For the latest odds and more information, you can visit ESPN Bet.
This information is valuable for those who are interested in player props betting.
It is important to remember that these are projections and not guarantees.
Using these projections can help inform your decisions.
Good luck with your fantasy football decisions this week.
Week 3 in the National Football League kicks off with an American Football Conference East matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills are coming off a victory against the New York Jets, while the Dolphins lost to the New England Patriots.
Buffalo enters the game as a significant favorite at minus 13.5 points.
Sunday features two games between undefeated teams, the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Los Angeles Rams and the Arizona Cardinals visiting the San Francisco 49ers.
The Eagles are favored by 3.5 points, while the 49ers are favored by 1.5 points respectively.
Sunday Night Football showcases a matchup between two winless teams, the New York Giants and the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Giants lost to the Dallas Cowboys, and the Chiefs lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch.
Monday Night Football concludes the week with the Detroit Lions visiting the Baltimore Ravens.
The Ravens are favored by 4.5 points in that game.
For more detailed odds information on all of the Week 3 games, please refer to ESPN Bet.
The Football Power Index gives insight into win probabilities for each game.
This index considers various factors to project game outcomes.
Following a disappointing start to the 2022 season, the Detroit Lions have achieved an impressive turnaround.
They currently hold the longest active streak in the National Football League for wins after a loss, at 11 consecutive games.
This streak began in Week 9 of the 2022 season against the Green Bay Packers.
After starting the 2025 season with a loss to Green Bay, the Lions responded with a decisive victory against the Chicago Bears.
Head coach Dan Campbell emphasizes the importance of using losses as motivation for improvement.
He believes that losses refocus the team and create a sense of urgency to return to their winning ways.
Quarterback Jared Goff attributes the team's success to their preparation and determination to respond after defeat.
Since Week 9 of 2022, Detroit has boasted the highest points per game in the league while simultaneously allowing the fewest points against them.
Against Chicago, the Lions set a franchise record by averaging 8.8 yards per play on offense.
Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, while acknowledging the team's improved performance, believes there is still room for growth.
He highlighted the need to improve on drives following turnovers by the defense.
Despite the strong start to the season, St. Brown and the Lions remain focused on continuous improvement and maintaining their winning streak.
Jackson Dart currently focuses on learning by mimicking other quarterbacks and running the Giants' scout team.
He gets limited first-team reps as Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback.
Dart stays after practice with Jameis Winston and younger receivers to review the starter's practice script.
The Giants have chosen to develop Dart slowly, similar to the Chiefs' approach with Patrick Mahomes.
Mike Kafka, who worked with Mahomes as a rookie, is now the Giants' offensive coordinator.
Dart was the backup to Wilson in their first two losses, getting only 3 snaps on running plays.
He will be mimicking Mahomes in practice this week as the Giants prepare to face the Chiefs.
Dart appreciates the opportunity to observe other quarterbacks and learn from their high-level play.
The Giants' primary plan is for Dart to learn behind Wilson, but this could change if needed.
Kafka, Dabble, and Shea Tierney are working to develop Dart while also aiming to win with Wilson.
They have specific goals for Dart before he becomes the long-term starter.
Dabble emphasizes the importance of Dart learning the game from the sidelines and being involved in communication.
Wilson's strong performance against the Cowboys has quieted calls for Dart to start.
If Wilson continues to play well, Dart will likely follow a similar path to Mahomes' rookie year.
That's a wrap on this week's NFL Blitz Talk. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time with more gridiron fire and fearless breakdowns.